There is a singer everyone has heard, loud, a midsummer and a midwood bird, who makes the solid tree trunks sound again. He says that leaves are old, and that for flowers, midsummer is to spring as 1 to 10. He says the early petal fall is past, when pear and cherry bloom went down in showers. On sunny days, a moment overcast, and then comes that other fall we name the fall. He says the highway dust is over all. The bird would cease and be as other birds, but that he knows in singing not to sing. The question that he frames in all but words is what to make of a diminished thing. That question, what to make of a diminished thing? Somehow, it's entirely obvious, yet completely difficult to answer. In fact, people have spent years wrestling and trying to answer this question with no definitive results. Interestingly, it is a question that everyone has an answer to, whether you've thought about it or not. Simply by the nature of living a life, you have already answered this question in one form or another. And therein lies the genius of Robert Frost's Ovenbird. Although it recognizes the progression of time and the entropy in the world, it asks the question, and that's all it can really do. This question is certainly intimidating and can take any number of forms, like the purpose of life or how to live well, and the people that generally answer this question are philosophers. One such philosopher, Soren Kierkegaard, has some important insights into this question that provide a bit of an answer. As explained by Dr. Michael Sugrue, Kierkegaard postulates that everyone answers this question either in one form or another in his work Either or. The either, this first option, is the aesthetic life, a life of distraction, in which someone does not choose to confront this question, what to make of a diminished thing, head on, instead pursuing hedonism, pleasure, or any number of things in order to distract themselves from this question. Kierkegaard also asserts that a man who is aware of himself living an aesthetic life, a life of distraction, could logically come to the conclusion to simply exit life. The alternative, is to live an ethical life, a life where this question is pursued and answered. Ignoring this question, either intentionally or unintentionally, is perhaps the quickest downfall to living a life that is not purposeful or flourishing. In ancient Greece, philosophy was not only viewed as a way to approach life, but also a way to discern and know truth. Ancient Greek philosophers like Socrates thought that man already contained all the answers to every question of life, but the difficulty was getting himself out of the way. In Plato's Meno, he records a dialogue between Socrates and Meno, in which Socrates makes this exact argument in a term Socrates coins recollection. For Socrates, all truth lies dormant in the human soul and simply needs to be relearned. This is the case for Meno. As Socrates teaches Meno a geometric concept, he illustrates this point by saying that Meno simply relearned or recalled this by removing his own human foolishness. Although this is certainly hard to substantiate, there is merit to this idea, and it helps to answer what we should make of this diminished world. This is precisely where the importance of truth is made evident. Although it's hard to say what can be known, the very act of pursuing truth is crucial in answering and making sense of what to make of a diminished thing. It's necessary first to know what is the nature of this diminished thing in order to figure out how to live well. Again, this is in opposition to the aesthetic life, the life of distraction, which Kierkegaard says is what we want to avoid in making sense of this diminished thing. Simply seeking truth is already the first step in answering this question. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle assert that it is necessary to pursue truth, even when truth is hard to know. It would be hard to say what any of these thinkers would have to say about life today, but their philosophical principles have stood the test of time in providing a framework for answering how to live an intentional and truth-seeking life. In the same way, I intend for this to be a space for me to pursue and speculate on truth in an intentional way. I aim to engage earnestly with a variety of topics that interest me, which could take the form of commentary, criticism, or preponderance. Notably, I'm not any sort of philosophical expert or theologian, but I earnestly believe in the importance of living a life that recognizes the fullness of goodness, beauty, and certainly truth, and that it's important enough to put time and effort towards recording and cataloging some of my thoughts on such issues. So, this is what I make of a diminished thing.